Okay, good morning, 7th graders, and happy Tuesday. Today we will begin a session on TIC 7.4a, which is to represent constant rates of change in mathematical and real-world problems given pictorial, tabular, verbal, numeric, graphical, and algebraic representations. Okay, so let's take a look at now question number 1. A pitcher is filled with water at a rate of a third cup per second. Which graph represents the constant rate at which the pitcher is filled? So before we can start solving this problem, let's look at what rate is. Okay, rate is a ratio that shows how two quantities change with respect to each other. So we're going to write ratio. You guys write that down. Rate is also compares two quantities with different units. So we're looking at one quantity, which is cup, the amount, and the other quantity is the time in seconds. Okay? Rate is also known as slope. Okay, so let's see how we can represent this, and I'm going to represent this in tabular form. Okay? So I have my time. One quantity, which is my time. This is known as my independent variable. And the other quantity, which is cup, which is known as the dependent variable. Okay, so I write down, I'm going to write this down in tabular form. I have my time and I have my cup. Okay, and also as you can see from the solutions, from the answers, we have the time is the x-axis and the cups represents the y-axis. The time is the independent variable, the cups represents the dependent variable. So we're going to, my time is my x and my cups represent my y. Okay, so for 1 second, the amount in the cup is a third full. And also please note that per second means for every second. So for each second, for 1 second, so a third cup for 1 second. So that is represented here. For 1 second, it's going to be a third cup. So therefore, for 2 seconds, it's going to be a third plus a third, which is 2/3, or a third times 2, which is a third times 2 out of 1, which is 2/3. For 3 seconds, it's going to be a third plus a third plus a third, which is 3 out of 3, which is 1, or a third times 3, which is 3 out of 3, which is 1. Okay, so my x is my independent variable. And my y is the dependent variable. Okay, so let's see how we can, let's see what the answers are. Okay, so in 1 second, the cup should be a third full. Yes, that seems to be represented there. In 2 seconds, the cup should be 2/3 full. That seems to be represented there. In 3 seconds, the cup should be 1 cup full. That is represented there. Yes. So our answer is A. We're going to shade A. Now let's take a look at the other answers. It is not B because in 1 second, what is the amount in the cup? It is 4 cups. So it's not B. So we crossed out B. Let's take a look at C. In 1 second, the amount is 3 cups. So it's not C. It's supposed to be a third cup. Let's take a look at D. In 1 second, and D doesn't even start at 1, it starts at 3, so it cannot be D. So the most reasonable answer is A. Okay. So teachers at this time, please pause the video so the students can turn and talk and explain what I just did. The student on the left-hand side, take 30 seconds, explain to the student on the right-hand side the steps I took to solve the problem. The students on the right-hand side, when you're done, the students on the right-hand side, please explain to the student on the left the steps I took to solve the problem. Just a brief recap, this is what I did. I represented this in tabular form, and I derived the y, which is the amount in the cups, which is the dependent variable. So that is what I did. So take a brief look at that, and then you guys can explain to each other.